The doorbell rang again. The unrelenting echo pulled me back into a state of composure once again. I didn't have a moment to spare. Quickly, I needed to get away. I didn't want to die. I couldn't uncover everything after that. The identity of whoever or whatever had pushed me this far. Okay, that's not gonna work. Even if I had to drink mud and eat grass, you might not want to be doing the drinking of mud. I would survive. I would definitely survive. Yeah, no, don't go drinking mud. No, that's not going to help anyone. That I killed Renna for that very reason. I also killed Mion. I went that far just to keep living. Though I can't die. For my sake, and for the sake of the late Renna and Mion, I have to survive. I ran towards the door and grabbed my shoes. The doorbell rang again as if to urge me on. Behind this single solitary door, they were there. The bunch of many adults behind that door and a doctor. Keeping quiet, I headed towards the kitchen. Headed towards the back door. Before opening the back door, I put my ear to it and checked for people outside. No one? After I put my shoes on, I opened the door slowly, as if to not make a sound. That's not the sound of a door opening, that's just... ooh, the horrible sounds. There he is, the back door. A piercing voice echoed out. That voice stabbed through me, setting my hair on end. I had to run. Had to get out of here, Keiichi. One after the other, I felt stuff like rationale and intelligence, those things you use when you have time to spare, spill out of me. I didn't feel any pain from the branches scratching my arms and forehead. My autonomously pulsing heart also felt neither fatigue nor pain. My entire being just wished to live. There was nothing else it desired. It probably had no complaints whatsoever. So of course, I wouldn't feel fatigue just yet. I just ran. Just recklessly rushing in the direction I was already heading. Even if nobody was chasing after me, I'd still be running like this. There wasn't a thought in my mind about where I was headed. Turning around, I felt a presence right next to me. That presence was without a doubt chasing me like my shadow. Maybe it is your shadow. If I took even one misstep, I would be destroyed. I would be devoured. Devoured? That's what I thought. So I didn't turn around. I didn't stop. I ran at full speed. I wonder how long he kept that up for. That was the chirping of the Higurashi telling me it was evening, trying to tell me something, and then I finally heard it. The wailing cry of the victims who didn't make it. Would I be joining them? Possibly. Not making that sound effect again. Only the Higurashi knew. They knew everything. They definitely knew. I wonder how long their lifespan is, so maybe they do completely know. So I ran towards where I could hear more of the Higurashi's chirps. But the farther I ran, the farther away their chirping became. I couldn't get near them. Why are you all running away? Was it my fault? Was I the one to blame? Then I'll apologize. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. 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 Wow, okay. Sorry. I felt that only the Higurashi knew. When we were chasing after the sounds of insects. Oh, we were that close to the end here. We were so close. And we got the achievement Chased by Shadows, and that is a creepy ass icon. The smoking room was filled with a cloud of cigarette smoke. The expensive smoke filter gave off some crackling electronic noise, but it didn't seem like it was doing anything at all. Why do smokers have to be shoved so far down this corridor where the sun didn't even reach? I recalled hearing that the tax revenue from tobacco was about a tenth of the municipal's revenue. We were the most heavily taxed members of this municipality, so I really wish they show us a little more respect. Maybe they're trying to make you spend more money so you don't spend it on smoking is probably why. Why would you discard the 5-man zoo there? It's just decreasing your options. One of the young detectives was having a staring contest at the Mahjong magazine called Next Turn. Really, you're still in Tepai if you cut the 5-man zoo. If you're betting on Haitai, then shouldn't you be going into it with a Mahang? Boy, I wish I knew what they were talking about here. Kuma-chan, look at the pond. They're all discarded at 5-man zoo. It's a safe tile. You'd hate it if at the end of the game someone was sitting on a tenpai on the last turn, wouldn't you? The kid let out another groan, put out his cigarette, and then took out another one. I just don't agree. Why would you reduce your own options? By the way, you can't call Ron with your winning tile in that hatai. What? Why is that? Just then, I heard a voice coming from down the hall. Are you here, Oshi-san? Okay, so we're now from the perspective of Oshi-san now. You have a call from a civilian. Oh, ain't that something? Well, see you soon. We're just so damn carefree, aren't we? But why can't you call Ron on it? Oh, hold on a second, Oshi-san. I have no idea about the game of Mahjong, so let's just give that a miss, shall we? The man sitting in the seat Oshi-san was heading towards waved at the telephone receiver. Outside line, from a payphone. Oh, why thank you. Sorry to keep you waiting, this is Oshi. Who is it? Ah, Oshi-san. Hello. Well, if it isn't Maibara-san. Why, good evening. From the tone Maibara-kun's voice, I already knew he was in a predicament. This was the first time Maibara-kun had phoned me, and he was calling from a payphone. Please, calm down. Did something happen? Well... His voice was erratic all over the line. He had completely lost his sense of composure. After checking that nobody else could hear, I prompted him in a hushed tone. What happened? Calm down, Maibara-san. I can have the local officers head to your location. I'll be there soon too. I think that's impossible. His voice was quivering and hoarse. He wasn't surrounded by people, even as he was making this call, was he? Who knows? Maibara-san, you're calling from a payphone right now, right? Where is that payphone? There was no other sounds besides Maibara-kun's own voice. It had to be a phone booth. I scratched out a note and thrust it at my colleague sitting across me. Hinamizawa, phone booth. He understood quickly and hastily started on the internal lines. Calm down, Maibara-san. What is your current situation? It usually wasn't a good idea to tell someone panicking to do so, but this wasn't a usual case. Maibara-kun didn't just get away and then call me. He was in the midst of something dangerous right now. But yelling at Maibara-kun right now would just needlessly cause him to be even more frantic, and we don't need that. Maibara-kun wasn't just calling to seek help. He was trying to tell us something more than that. And whatever that was, if I didn't get it from his call, I was certain there would never be another chance. My colleague pushed a note in front of me. There's only one booth in Hinamizawa. A patrol car is on the way. 5 minutes. That's too long. How many officers are in there? 2. Not enough. If it was as I imagined, there was likely quite a few people surrounding my barracoon. 5 minutes was too long. Did you call the officer stationed in Hinamizawa? He's scheduled to be on patrol. They're currently out and it's impossible to contact them. Damn. Goddamn. Kuma-chan, bring the car around. Understood. Hello? Oshi-san? Hello? It's alright. I can hear you loud and clear. There was something wrong with my barracoon. It wasn't a normal coughing sound. Vomiting? Or was it blood? Had he already been attacked? Was he injured? Maibara-san, the police are on the way. They'll be there in a couple of minutes, so just hold on somehow. Hello? Can you hear me? Maibara-san. I could hear on the other end of the line that he was having a coughing fit. The worst possible situation popped into my head. Maibara-san, who is the culprit? How many are there? I thought at first the culprit was human. I couldn't tell if that was just a cough or vomiting. Are you alright, Maibara-san? I thought that the culprit was a person and not Oyashiro-sama's curse. Up until right now, but I guess in the end, that's like the worst sound effect I could make, isn't it? It was an intense bout of coughing, then vomiting. But I guess Oyashiro-sama does exist. He's here. Maibara-san, please, just calm down. I had been thinking it was strange for a while now. It's been following me this whole time. I run and run and run and run, but it just sticks to me like my shadow. But slowly, oh so slowly, it's digging itself into my back. Maibara-san, are they right now perhaps right behind you? Behind me? Right behind me. Please, Maibara-san, I can tell you're scared, but please, who is it that's right behind you? I can't just look behind me. If I do, I understand that you're scared, but please, tell me. You just need to turn around a bit. Who is it? Who is behind you, Maibara-san? Right after I said that, I could hear him vomiting intensely. What followed was a nightmarish sound. Maibara-san, it couldn't be that you're coloring out your own throat. There was no answer, but I could hear something like scratching. There was a bang as if something was being hit. My barracoon had probably dropped the receiver. I could hear groaning and vomiting I could hear groaning and vomiting over and on the other end, and a repeating abnormal noise. Hello? Hello? Maibara-san? Hello? I knew how far my voice would sound on the other end, but I couldn't help but shout. At that moment, I could hear whispering coming from the other end. I couldn't tell what he was saying. But the way he was saying it, was he talking to himself? Or was he talking to someone there? Hello? Maibara-san. Rather than whispering, it was some kind of mantra he was chanting over and over. I focused my senses trying to pick up on what he was trying to say. What was he repeating? What exactly? Beep. Suddenly the line went dead. Did he use up his time? It was because it was a payphone. It was because it cut off so abruptly. The last thing he said came out so clearly in my mind. Oshi-san, the car is good to go. Oshi-san? It was... I'm sorry. Oshi-san? That's what he was repeating over and over. He said, "I'm sorry." I had a good feeling. There was no longer a need to hurry. I could hear the chirp of the Higurashi spilling in from the open window. Wee. I should have been able to hear them this entire time. I just wasn't paying any attention. Why did I focus on them all of a sudden? Were they trying to tell me something? Only the Higurashi knew. That's how I felt. Only the Higurashi knows. July 1983. In Hinamezawa, a remote village near the Shinshiron city, there was a murder involving 2 female shooters. The suspect is Keiji Maibara, age 1X. The suspect called over his 2 female classmates, Menaruga Mion Sonozaki, to his house and beat them to death with a metal bat. The scene of the crime was the suspect's room on the 2nd floor of his house. The inside of the room was covered with a significant quantity of splattered blood, and there were signs of a struggle with the victims. In addition to the scene of the crime, the entryway, living room and kitchen all had traces of a struggle. Sorry if I'm rushing this. At the entryway, the shoe rack and wall had evidence of being impacted by a strong, blunt force. It is believed that to be the same as the same bat as the murder weapon. Having no traces of blood, it is believed that the destruction occurred before the murders. There is a possibility that the suspect overpowered his victims to keep them from fleeing. In the living room, the rug had been pulled back, then thrown aside. It is hard to believe that this had a connection to the struggle with his victims, and thus the reason for this remains unknown. In the kitchen, the garbage bag was torn apart and its contents were spread out on the floor. Garbage was strewn about in the surrounding area, and handprints believed to belong to the suspect were discovered. It is believed that the suspect had some reason to take out the garbage and struck it with his fist. The reason for this remains unknown. I would probably read this in In addition, there was a note stuck to the fridge. The words "where was there a needle" were written on it. The meaning behind this remains unclear, just in case the garbage was searched but a needle was not discovered. Though the garage door was functional, it had been left open ever since the suspect moved in. The garage door was found closed. The suspect's fingerprints were discovered on the garage door. The reason behind this remains unknown. The suspect fled the scene of the crime. However, a patrolling officer, the Hinamezawa local PD, found the suspect clapped inside a phone booth. At the time of the discovery, the suspect was unconscious in critical condition. He was rushed to the local hospital for treatment, but did not regain consciousness and died 24 hours later. The results of the autopsy indicates the immediate cause of death to have been a hemorrhagic shock. It was determined that the suspect had clawed out his own throat with his fingernails, and the resulting bleeding caused his death, with the similarities to the death of Tomitake-san done a week prior. The week believed there is to be a connection and have opened an investigation. However, due to the wishes of the local authorities, it will be a confidential investigation. Due to the abnormal nature of the death, it was suspected that the drugs were involved, but as with Tomitake-san, no traces were discovered. What prompted all this remains inexplicable. As such, this case is being treated as committed on impulse. However, with bizarre accounts of the suspect's bizarre behaviour leading up to the incident, it is possible that this was premeditated. Separated from his group of friends, isolation, inexplicable behaviour. Several days before the incident, the suspect began carrying around a metal bat. The suspect was observed displaying aggressive behaviour, as well as talking to himself at school. His classmates have actually heard portions of what he was saying. 2 days before the incident, the suspect declared to his parents the possibility of his death. Due to these circumstances, the police have begun an investigation on the possibility that this crime was not committed on impulse, but was instead planned several days in advance. Afterwards, wow, it was long. The note was found in the suspect's room that he had written himself. The note was written on 2 sheets of B5 college ruled notebook that had each been torn in half, and was trying to conceal it was stuck behind a clock on the wall. The context was written in the appendix. The police believe it to be strongly related to the incident. The police changed their line of investigation based on the possibility that the suspect was involved in some sort of incident himself. However, no further clues was found, casting doubt on the credibility of the note. Was the crime impulsive or premeditated? With the situation unclear and no further developments, the case has been labelled as unresolved. However, the following year, the suspicions arose regarding the nature of the note. The note was not written on two halves of B5 paper from two separate sheets, but was originally a single sheet of B5 paper. In order to erase several lines from the middle, someone had torn them out. Judging from the size of the letters, the missing section is estimated to be 2 to 3 lines. It is highly probable that the person who eliminated the lines in question is not the suspect. In addition, judging from the traces of large quantities of cellophane tape stuck behind to the back of the clock, speculated that someone other than the note was stuck there had arisen. The person who first discovered the crime was a detective rumored to have a connection with the incident, Kurado Oshi. He underwent involuntary questioning but denies involvement in any damages to the note. How long is this auto section going on for? The suspect's note. I, Keiichi Maibara, am in fear of my life. I do not know why they are after my life. The only thing I know is that it has to do something with Yashiro-sama's curse. When I'm me and a conspirators of the perpetrators, there are 4 or 5 adults, maybe more. They have a white van. This is all on the first sheet. Everything below this has been ripped out. This is from the second sheet. Everything above this had been ripped out. I have no idea why it became like this. If you are reading this, then I'm probably already dead. Though the only difference may be the presence or lack of body. You who are reading this, please uncover the truth. This is my only desire. Keiichi Maibara. Okay, that's the end of the auto section. Oh wow, that was a quick read, let's put it that way. And that's the end of Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 1, the Onikakushi. A new scenario has been unlocked. An old cast review session. Huh, how nice. Okay, so that does it for... Let's see if it jumps back to the main menu. Unlock achievement. Please uncover the truth. I think the only achievement left is just to read all the tips, but I'll save that for some other time. Yeah, old cast review, chapter jump, a few tips. So that does it for Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 1, Onikakushi. I have been your host, Tinman, and I'm signing off. Goodbye.